Alright guys, it's Saturday and it's not what you think, because we have a drop list for you. So stay tuned. Here it comes. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Aurora House, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess way, so bow down respect. And of course, there's Coco, stealing all the fame.
That is true. She's a fame stealer.
All hail the mighty Coco.
Alright guys, so today is Saturday and we're flipping things up a little bit because this weekend we get to go to a con, which is super exciting, and we're hopefully going to film there and do some little haul video afterwards. So the drop list got moved to Saturday because we need to know what books are dropping this week. We know it's really important and a lot of you guys dig this list, so you're going to get it a couple days early. That's kind of exciting. Maybe you'll have the weekend to look for some of these books instead of getting it on a Monday. We might even look for some of these books. So, so we got a nice new drop list for you. This drop list is very heavy on my good friend Adam Warlock, also known as him, for I don't know if it's a good reason or not. We'll see. It's kind of weird. Movie hasn't come out yet, but nevertheless, books be dropping. And you know what else is dropping?
My weight! No, this drink here. It's a sparkling ice caffeine blue raspberry. Only one company dared to give me the raspberry, and it has 0 sugar. So it helps me, shut up, it helps me drop those pounds, and I have been dropping. I bet gaining muscle at the same time, so let's get into this.
Hold him down and give him a raspberry.
How dare you. It's very flavorful, very good. For it being 0 sugar, it tastes like it has sugar. Wow, maybe it does. They tricked me. For the last time.
You just find out all these sodas and stuff that said 0 sugar had sugar the whole time.
I get so angry. It's like, liars. You shall have my vengeance.
It wouldn't be the first. Alright guys, so if you're new to the Drop List show, the Gains crew scours the internet for hot lists, trending lists, new comics that are coming out. There's all these books that are just on fire a year ago, and we try to go through that list and figure out which books are on the drop. So a lot of books, especially if they, like movie news or TV news comes out, a book will spike really high and everyone will start buying it at like these high prices. And then a year or so later, depending on sweet spot, can be 6 months to a year, a book will drop significantly in price. And that's when it might be a good idea for you to go and pick it up. So what we do is we put together a nice list for you of 5 books that we think are on the drop. And sometimes they're a good idea to pick up. Sometimes there's a reason why they're on the drop. And Zach kind of gives you his input on whether or not you should just forget about that book. So, to kick off the list today, we have Fantastic Four, number 66 from 1976. There it is. A great, great cover there. You have Stan Lee and Jack Kirby Goodness, the original team, putting up this book here. And this is a key because it is the origin of him, later called Adam Warlock, one of my favorite characters for a reason. But this book was getting really hot a year ago because we got an announcement that Adam Poulter is going to be playing Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And it just started out. It's one of the Adam Warlock keys. I know it gets kind of confusing. He has a lot of keys. This is actually the first time he's mentioned in comic books, and it has his origin. So it's kind of like these scientist guys are talking about creating him in this comic book, but you don't actually ever see him. You don't even get to see the cocoon in this book. It's just them talking about making him. And it's kind of a weird story because you have the character on the front is Alicia, who's the Thing's girlfriend, and she gets kidnapped by them. She's blind, so that she can go in and sculpt his face, because no one else can see him because it's so bright light. It's a weird story.
Okay.
But that's why it's an Adam Warlock key, and it's a cool cover. It's a cool part of this whole thing because there's actually like 10 keys that go along with his first appearance. But it has dropped significantly, and if you like this book, it might be a good time to pick it up because Zach's got some good info on it.
Yeah, alright. So, interesting enough, and I've started to notice this in higher grade older books, is that if you go for the really high-end ones, there's only so few listings, and the prices kind of increase. For the rare, like a 9.8 has probably increased like $1,000 from a year ago. But everything below a high grade has dropped, I would say.
Which, if you're like me, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I won't even say
affordable keys.
I won't even say it's a low grade for a Silver Age book, so it's kind of interesting. It's something that I want to look more into. Which books that have dropped almost as a whole, except for ones in certain grades, which is kind of interesting. You would think it would all drop or all gain at the same time.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So it's kind of, I think it has something to do with the scarcity of the grade. So it's something interesting. So the one I could find that's the higher of the grades that had more than just a few sales was a 7.5. And prices a year ago on eBay and all the other places, because I had to look it up on Go Collect, was $500 for 7.5. Now, $207. Dropped 50%.
I'd buy that for $207.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like Zach's cutoff point for Silver Age is 7.0 or higher. That's kind of his benchmark. My benchmark is like 3.0 or higher.
Right.
But
so the books about in the Silver Age start looking good at about 3.5, ideally a 4. Because if it's under a 4 or under a 3.5, it starts looking like you had to settle. And you don't want to settle, guys.
They call that ratty.
Don't settle. I'm talking about something else. So the range is $207 to $813.59. Average is $446.96. $207 for this key is a steal in a 7.5. I would buy as many as I can if you had the cash.
They're out there too. You find them quite a bit.
Yeah, you find them, but apparently not graded. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Something you might want to take advantage of. Yeah, I would say it's a high buy. It's a high collectible key that you should have in your collection. We all have one. I think the princess has one too, or 2 or 3. What? Well, we have to fix that.
You don't have one. You better get one.
You better get one.
Now's your chance. Now's your chance. All right. So, what's better than 66? We'll just roll this right along. You got Fantastic Four 67 from 1967. Also, was 1 month later this came out. 1 month after.
1 month.
Stan Lee, Jack Kirby goodness. This is the only one I don't think Zach thought we had this one, but we do not have this one.
Couldn't find it.
And this is of the 2 big Adam Warlock keys. This is the one of the 2 big ones. The other one being the Thor book. But this is the first cameo of him later. Adam Warlock, and also another part of his origin, like an added-on part of his origin. He's definitely in this book. You get to see the cocoon. It's on the cover. He comes out of the cocoon at the end. You get to see him at, I think, at least 2 or 3 panels, and he talks and kind of tells us these, like, scientists that created him, they thought they were going to create him to, like, be the perfect human to take over the world, but then they realized they created him too strong and they couldn't control him. Mm-hmm. So, but this is one of the big keys if you're looking for one of the big books to get. And this obviously spiking along with all the Adam Poulter news. Great actor. I love him in Meet the Millers, but he's in like a million other good movies as well. What's that one, like Midsummer?
Yeah, that was a creepy one.
He gets skinned in that movie.
That was creepy.
But yeah, I'm excited to see him in the movie, and a lot of people were 1 year ago, and for some reason everybody forgot about it because this book is also on the drop list, and this is one of the big Adam Warlock keys. And Zach, how far did this big key drop?
In a 9.0, it sold a year ago for $1,750. Now $965, almost in half. Not as bad as a 66. Range is $679.99. Someone got a steal to $1,999 or $95. And then the average is $1,495.62. This is also another buy. You can go for the lower grade ones, like a 7.5. It's not even that low. 7.5 is a nice grade. It's a VF minus or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice grade. Or fine VF, whatever. However you want to see it. Yeah, I would also go pick this book up. It's very heavily connected. His first appearance is very heavily connected to the FF, so I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him in. They're also going to bring one of the characters of Fantastic Four in. That kind of like get you ready, get your blood pumping for that movie to come out, like, 2 years later or a year later?
Could happen.
I could highly see it happening. So yeah, I would get this book too. It's hard. I'd get both.
This one's a nice expensive book, but it's definitely a good book to get. And it's almost kind of weird they didn't give this as his first full appearance. I mean, he does show up at the end of the book, but he's in quite a few panels. So, and he does talk, which is kind of It falls into those guidelines, those kind of strange guidelines for first full or first cameo, but
people like to have him on the cover
in the story.
So that Thor book is one of the reasons why it's so expensive.
True. All right. It wouldn't be complete if we didn't have 3 Adam Warlock books, but this one's a little bit further down the road. We got Strange Tales 178 from 1975, few months after these other books. But this is Jim Starlin goodness. He did both the artwork and the story in this book, which is amazing. I love when that happens. It's kind of, the books really flow, like really cool when they do both of the stuff. But this is a new ongoing story for Adam Warlock. So he kind of took over this part of Strange Tales, and they do a little story continuing on with him there. But this book is important because it is the first full appearance of Magus. I think it's just first appearance of Magus, who's an evil version of Warlock from the future. So he's also like connected. This also has part of the Universal Church and the Matriarch. So basically, what happens is that Adam Warlock splits his body into half. All the good going to one side, and all the evil going to the other side. And all the evil turns into Magus, and he runs into him down the road. You find out later on with the Infinity Stones how this all took place. But Magus shows up from the future and kind of screws with some stuff. This book got hot because we know Adam Warlock's going to be a character in Guardians of the Galaxy, and everyone's speculating on which kind of character he's going to be. Is he going to be a villain? Is he going to be a hero? Is he going to be an anti-hero? And having that those the gold people from the movie were already kind of bad to start out with, or sort of bad, it would make sense that he's going to be a villain. So is it going to be easier for him just to be the Magus and not be regular Adam Warlock at all? It's all kind of speculation. This book took a huge jump, was like going to the moon. We were like so impressed because we actually were speculating this. We have 4 or 5 copies of this book at least, and it was like going crazy, and we didn't sell it. We were hanging on, and now it's gone back down. So it might be a good idea to pick this book up, and Zach will give you some more info on that as well.
So prices a year ago for 9.0 was $338. Not that bad for this significant of a book. To now $205, not too bad of a drop. Range is 130 to 735, average 376.33. Again, like Adam was saying, I think if they're going to bring him in the movie, he should be a villain. So they should have some kind of play on Adam and Magus kind of thing. Maybe Adam the Magus, and that's he comes out evil, they defeat him, and then his evil spirit goes off into the ether, maybe to come back eventually. Maybe has a split personality. I would think it would be really smart on them to make him a villain in this, and then also transition him into being a hero in this same movie. And that would actually be kind of like a double key movie. It would be hitting on very cool, smart points. And I don't want to see him be good and then become evil, or later on. It would be kind of
evil first and then become good.
Yeah.
There's also the Soul Stone still kind of out in play out there too. A lot of people are saying they're not sure where Captain America was even able to return the Soul Stone, so that could be, on Vormir. So there's that could be out there. So he could actually be evil, then get the Soul Stone, then turn good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all of his power turn evil, and then when he gets the Soul Stone, he becomes good. That'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a cool story. Hey, write that down. Write that down, Marvel.
We'll remember that.
I know someone's watching that's part of the Marvel Universe filming crew, and they're like, oh yeah, great idea.
It is a good idea.
I'm going to steal it. You should.
Yeah.
And also
they can do something cool with that, because Natasha's soul's stuck in there, so that could be, you get some goodness from that soul.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think Gamora's soul's stuck in there too, so.
Yeah, maybe Doug goes into one of those fighting poses. They're like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Just got this feeling.
I just got that feeling.
All right, you know what I like better than talking about Adam? I like talking about ladies. So the next 2 books are going to be ladies. So, and we got one of my favorites here, and this surprisingly made the drop list after everything that's been going on, and it's not a huge drop, but we thought we'd report on this a little bit just in case people are looking for this book, because I'm looking for another copy, so this might be a good idea to start hunting for another one. But we do have Bloodstone #1 from 2001 making the drop list. And this is a book done by Dan Abnett and Michael Lopez. Beautiful freaking book. Beautiful book. This is the first appearance of Elsa Bloodstone, obviously the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone. And it's also his first appearance of Nosferatu, if anybody was looking for that Nosferatu goodness. he's kind of like the nasty-looking version of Dracula, right?
Yeah.
But
This old vampire.
But obviously, no spoiler. I think everybody knows. She shows up in Werewolf by Night, the new Halloween special. But Laura Donnelly killed that role, killed it. I'd say my only thing I was a little confused about was the hair color. I just don't know. We were talking about that. Like, obviously, she's blonde in the original Bloodstone, then she's red-haired later. The show she had brown hair. I'm not sure if they gave her those fake color hairs, if she would just look goofy with them or not. I don't know. Maybe they tested her out with blonde hair and red hair, and she just looked better with brown hair. I could go either way. She did a really good job. The show was amazing. Obviously, this book spiked a year ago because the announcement of her being in the show. Everyone's like, all right, I need to grab this. And then this is one of those weird instances where the show was really good, so it's a lot of these like Werewolf by Night keys are actually spiking higher after the show. Her book was diving all the way after her announcement. And it did have sort of a comeback, but not quite to the same level it was before a year ago. So that's why it might be a good time to pick up this book. Always be on the lookout. Princess found that book in a $5 bin, not bagged and boarded. Yeah.
Oh, no, it was
bagged and boarded. Just digging. They're like, here's my lady books of Vampirella. And someone decided to throw that in their box of Vampirella books because it looks like a Vampirella book.
Full set.
Yeah.
Completed the run.
Nice.
One fell swoop.
So, be on the lookout because it happens. And, Zach, is it a good time to pick up this Bloodstone goodness?
Well, I'll let the numbers tell you, and then I will expand upon it after. So, 9.8 sales on eBay was $795 a year ago. Now it's $625. Not too bad of a drop, but almost $200. Almost. Range is 587 to 1,027. So it has been as high as double from its lowest to highest. Almost double. Average is 803.58. I would say it's for a $500 range or a $500 price tag. I'd buy a 9.8. You should think about buying a 9.8. I think this character is here to stay. It's a fun character. It's probably going to be tied in with Blade. Probably going to be tied in with a couple other movies.
Black Knight.
Yeah, Black Knight.
Yeah, the whole mix.
I mean, I know Marvel and Disney has been trying to get into the movie monster kind of game for a while because it's been dead for a while.
Oh yeah, they tried to bring it back in that cruddy Mummy movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's in different industries a little bit.
Sorry,
but
Tom Cruise.
They're all trying to bring it back, and I think they should. I think it has a lot of cinematic history, and it would be very smart on them to kind of mix that in with Marvel, which is very hot. The MCU is very hot right now.
All right, Paris Hilton.
It's very hot right now. So yeah, I would say this is probably a decent book to get. Again, you can find it in the wild. You can find for under $100. Surprisingly, Princess just proved it.
A lot of non-collectors don't know what this book is either. That's the other thing, Gotta be on the lookout for.
Yeah. So try to find this book. Try to find it raw. Get it graded, and yeah. And if you press it yourself, you might get it back in a month. More CGC is coming. Stay tuned. Anyways.
All right. Let's finish this list out with a goodie but a herder right now. We've got Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16, Another Lovely Lady from 1982. This is a John Romita Jr. cover and Roger Stern story, but this is first appearance of Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, also known as Photon and Spectrum. This character was played by Teyonah Parris, who did a great job, and we've actually really seen her in one movie. She's only been in WandaVision, or a TV show, not even a movie, WandaVision. So we haven't seen her in anything else leading up to this. And this book got hot. I mean, this is already a great character. They have used her in a ton of stories lately. If you're caught up on your Marvel reading, she's showing up in all kinds of stuff. Thunderbolts. She's on the Thunderbolts team in the comics, not in the movie, but. You got like all kinds of good stuff. And then we did see her mother in Multiverse of Madness, so we didn't even get to see this exact character going on. But this book was very, very expensive and has taken a huge dive. And we've only just seen the beginning of her because she's on the movie title for the Marvel. So she's going to be one of the main characters, which I think that's going to be a great movie. Got Kamala Khan coming back, so that should be fantastic. And that doesn't come out till 2023. So this book has dropped a lot, and in my opinion, probably want to be the ones you guys want to look out for the most. But Zach will give you more numbers so you know exactly how to feel about it.
And now it's on the drop. CGC 9.8 a year ago was selling for $1,358. Now, $613. Half. Less than a half. Range is 613 to 1,358. Average 955.69. So it's at the low right now. It's the lowest
of the low
it's ever been an entire year on eBay. Maybe you can find it lower or higher on other sites, but on eBay, that's the pricing it'll take to get a 9.8. I think she has a lot of potential. She's coming in the Marvel. She might make a few other appearances. It would be kind of good if they get them a little bit more hype for the Marvels. They're putting a lot of money into it. There's a lot of good actors and actresses in there. I think it's probably going to be one of the better movies of the year. I hope so. As long as they don't crash and burn like a pilot. But anyways, yeah. I would say this is a good book to buy. It's a nice 9.8 Bronze Age key. Yeah, consider buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably the best buy throughout this entire list is probably, I would say, the FF66. I think it has a lot of potential because it just had such a swing downtick. I mean, you could even say the 67 would also be a good one. But 66 or 67, 7.5, get for $200. It's going to go up, and you'll thank me later.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird keys where people are like looking for more things that connect to Adam Warlock. And they're like, hey, this is actually like a pretty good key for him. Like,
yeah,
this should be worth some money.
I think, and then there's going to be the classic argument of what came first, so it's going to drive the sales up.
Egg.
Yeah.
Leave a comment down below.
What came first?
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the drop list for this week. Some great books. Unfortunately, all Marvel books. This week was very, very Marvel heavy. But stay tuned for next week. I have a feeling there might be some other publishers entering the drop list next week. And we do have an extra special video coming out on Monday, which should be a haul video for our con we're going to this weekend. You never know. We might find absolutely nothing, and then we'll have nothing to show you. But we're going to do our best to film this con as we go. I don't know how our friends Erod does that, or Very Gary. They always like film everything. I'm like, how are they doing that? I'd be hunting the whole time. They're like showing us all these great books and all this stuff. And they're like, this is the haul afterwards. I'm like, ugh. Like, we get in there and we're just like, okay, screw it, we're not filming. We got to start digging right away.
We just need to buy a GoPro and just attach it to the shirt and just walk around, and someone asks, are you filming this? It's like, why do you think I'm wearing a GoPro? Jeez.
But we will hopefully find some cool stuff. It's going to be exciting. We have back-to-back. Next weekend after that, we have another con we're going to, so hopefully we find some cool stuff.
We have another show next week.
Halloween, monsters, and aliens. We're doing a special show. It's going to also be on Friday at 4 p.m. And then Princess is doing her show after at 6. And our friend Johnny he's going to be doing his show on Saturday. So we'll be all moving over to help support him on Saturday as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you like these drop lists and want us to keep doing them, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about all this Warlock spec or the lovely ladies we talked about today. And Zach, you got anything else?
And share, of course, because after saying all of that, one of the most important things is to share. Tell your friends, tell your family that likes comics, tell everybody about ComicGains. If you like this list, love this list, they will help us out quite a bit. And then we can up the production value even more. That's how you get those gains. That was very tight to what we're trying to do. So let's do this, guys.
We're going to get an x-ray so you can see the inside.
What? That'd be cool. We'll do it. If we get to 10,000 followers, we'll get an x-ray from that. Why not?
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Get those gains. Every single one. Later.